from shrieking every time the Raptors took a free throw, to the unfortunate update that she won't be in Miami to support her father. Here's how DeMar DeRozan's daughter helped the Chicago Bulls win their first match in the play-in tournament. And it's an epic story. The Bulls-Raptors elimination match in the play-in tournament was always going to be a close one. After finishing 10th, the Bulls faced a tough task going to Canada and getting a result on the road, which still wouldn't guarantee a place in the playoffs. But even the most optimistic Chicago Bulls fans would have any idea about who helps them get the W. That's because the Raptors lost the game due to a decision that DeMar DeRozan made earlier in the day. You see, his daughter, DeRozan, had school that morning, but thanks to some brilliant convincing skills, not only did DR get herself out of school duties for the day, but she also managed to reach Toronto in time to catch her father in action. After all, Toronto is a special place for the DeRozan family. DeRozan's NBA career took off here, and he spent a good part of the decade playing for the Raptors. So no wonder the DR really wanted to be in the Scotiabank Arena. But if you find yourself asking, what does any of this have to do with the game? Well, allow me to explain. So you see, as much as DR and the DeRozans love Toronto, they love Papa DeRozan a lot more. And it wasn't a surprise when she switched allegiances, supporting the Bulls against her former favorite team. So of course, having DR was enough for DeMar to produce a special performance on the night, where he came up with 23 points in a tight game that ended with a Bulls victory. But no, she wasn't only there to inspire her father to a game-winning performance. She was actually the MVP on the night. Yep, she has something in common with Michael Jordan after all. Both have put in crucial shifts to help secure a win, at least for the Bulls. Basically, DR was sitting courtside, and she ended up doing a fantastic job of distracting the Raptors players. Nothing that isn't strictly legal, though. The sixth grader could be heard on the television mics, even, every time the Raptors players were about to take their free throws.
You saw, but your daughter, DR, she was making an impact on the...
If he steps the wrong way or something...
Visit to Florida State. Patrick said I was down for whatever.
They screamed and shrieked, and boy did that do wonders. With the Chicago side down by 19 at one point, you've got to hand it to DR, as she really was the crucial factor in helping secure a win for the Bulls, because her strategy actually worked. The Raptors had a horrible night in terms of free throw shooting. Again, this is not an exaggeration. The Raptors shot 50% of all their free throws from the line, which is basically worse than what Shaquille O'Neal's career average was. So yeah, if you're wondering if 50% from the free throw line is bad, it's horrible, especially when you factor in their season average, which was nearly 80%. So thanks to DR, the Raptors made only 18 of their 36 free throw attempts, and had it not been for the MVP, the Raptors would have, on average, made at least 10 more. Remember, the game finished 109-104 in favor of the Chicago Bulls, so this is not a reach. They would have won the game by 5 instead of losing by 5. Unbelievable.
And here's the voice you're hearing when Raptors shoot. She's screaming. That time it didn't work.
Things actually got far worse for the home side toward the end of the game, because just as the fans started getting quieter with the game getting tougher in the second half, DR's screams started getting louder and louder, and Pascal Siakam actually missed the most important free throw of the night.
Missed 16 free throws.
A 20-point advantage.
This guy thinks he can do more.
The Raptors were down by 2, and Siakam, a decent foul shooter, had the chance of getting the Raptors within a point with less than a minute to go. But DR's hellish scream was so loud that it was heard on broadcast, and Siakam missed. And he wasn't the only one who struggled to focus from the free throw all night long. Every Raptor did, even the fans. As a rule of thumb, the home support generally observes a pin drop silence when their players are at the free throw line. Of course, Scotiabank, on the other end, is one of the loudest arenas in the NBA, so it's a nightmare to be on the free throw line if you're an opponent playing against the Raptors. Talk about giving them a taste of their own medicine. Going into halftime, Fred VanVleet actually appeared to point in the direction of DR, apparently complaining. Come on, Fred, that's just snitch behavior. The entire team was also rattled, clearly, as we've already seen what Siakam ended up doing, but he actually missed out on another opportunity after this as well. The All-Star was fouled on a three-point attempt, which meant he had the chance to tie the game with 3 free throw attempts. He closed out DR's streaks for the first one, draining it, but he missed both of the remaining 2, hitting the rim and falling into Nikola Vucevic's grateful hands. Oh, it was pandemonium time in Chicago.
Gets Toronto on the board. When you're struggling offensively early, those easy baskets and you can't give it right back. Adebayo.
DR had actually defended better than the entire Bulls team because, let's be honest, that's a positive 18 impact right there. The internet also erupted, and everyone was just so mad at what DR had done. In fact, Mark Jones, the commentator, claimed that DR deserved the game ball, and ESPN's Tim McMahon called it the best defensive performance in playoff history. We've never had a father and child duo play in the NBA, but so far, this is the best we've seen. But even her father couldn't believe it. Yeah, DeRozan was in disbelief when he found out what his daughter was up to. The 6-time All-Star revealed that he heard someone during the game, but he had no idea that it was his daughter doing all that.
Just adamant about coming to support. And I just said, you can miss one day at school and, come to a game, and I'm glad I did. I owe her some money for sure.
I mean, she did outplay her father in many ways. I'm talking a plus 18 with 0 minutes on court, compared to a 23-point performance in 39 minutes. And while she was given the official MVP honors by the Chicago Bulls Twitter account, there's also prize money waiting for her, as her father confirms that he owes her some for sure. He thanked her after the game, giving her an adorable hug, and he had an idea about how she went viral all over social media. Why wouldn't she? This remains one of the greatest NBA play-in moments of all time. Unfortunately, it won't become a habit. DeRozan confirmed that school comes first for DR, which is why she won't be in attendance for the Bulls game against the Heat. That is certainly a shame because that promises to be another close game for the Bulls. And it seems that their defense will have to wake up because they won't have the luxury of having DeMar DeRozan make things easier for them. There was a hilarious tweet by a Bulls fan account updating her status for the game after DeRozan confirmed the news. DeMar DeRozan is downgraded to out against the Miami Heat, and as you can expect, the Chicago fans were genuinely distraught. However, they'll be backing their team to get through against the Heat, with DR cheering them on from distance. And hopefully, the Bulls can sneak in another win, so that we can see a lot more of the 6th grader when the Bulls take on the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs. Given Giannis Antetokounmpo's record from the free throw line, it might be the Bulls' only way of stopping the Greek Freak. But first, they've got to get a big win in Miami, and they've got to do it without the help of their star fan, DeMar DeRozan. That's all I have on how DeMar DeRozan's daughter helped the Chicago Bulls to a win against the Raptors.